If you've recently switched to Linux, you've probably heard people say, just open the terminal, but if you've never used one before, that can sound a little intimidating. In this video, I'll show you 10 essential commands that every Linux user should know. The first command is pwd, which stands for Print Working Directory. Every time you open a terminal, you're in a folder somewhere on your computer. If you're ever unsure where you are, simply type pwd and press enter. The terminal will display the full path to your current location. Think of it like asking your computer, where am I right now? The next command is probably one that you'll use the most, which is ls. This lists files and folders in your current directory. If I press enter, I can see all the folders in my home directory. If you have any file extensions, you can type ls-1 and it will show you them. ls-a also shows any hidden files and folders you may have. Now that we know how to see what's in a folder, let's learn how to move around. This is where cd comes in, which stands for Change Directory. If I want to move into my Documents folder, I can simply type cd Documents, and I am now in my Documents folder. If I run pwd again, I can now see the full path to my Documents folder. If I want to go back one level, I type cd space ... and I am now in my home directory. If I type pwd, we can see that. And if you ever want to go back to your home folder and you've navigated to lots of different folders, you can simply type cd. Once you understand cd, navigating Linux becomes much easier. Now, because we already have a lot of code on our screen, I'm going to clear it. Now let's create our own folder. To do that, we'll use mkdir, which stands for Make Directory. For example, we could use mkdir practice and press enter. Now, if I type ls, we can see that practice has appeared in our home directory. We can now change directory to practice, where we can now create a file within that folder. For example, we can do that with touch, and then the name of the file and its extension. For example, touch notes.txt. And if we do an ls, we can see that notes has been created. Now let's look inside the notes file. To do this, use cat and then the notes file name. And as we can see, I've put some basic text in there for a test. What if we want to rename the file? That's what mv is for. For example, if I type mv notes.txt, we can rename it to my notes.txt. And if we list, we can now see that the file has been changed from notes to my notes. Eventually you'll want to delete files as well. For that, you use rm my notes.txt, for example. And if we do an ls, we can see that the file has been completely removed. And if we look at the file manager under practice, we can see that this is completely empty. And if we go to the rubbish bin, we can see that it also has been removed there. Those are some simple Linux terminal commands that every beginner should know. If you found this video helpful, consider subscribing. Thanks for watching and I hope to see you next time.